Now to new findings from a state investigation into the Dallas County Juvenile Detention Center. An audit revealed that young people were illegally confined in their cells for long periods of time.
And that some officials falsified records to cover up what was really happening. This basically confirms what WFAA has been reporting for months. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez has been leading our coverage.
And you have been reporting on this over the last several months. What's your big takeaway from this report?
Well, look, Cynthia, we've been talking to whistleblowers. We've talked to the county commissioners and the district attorney who have all been sounding the alarm and saying something was wrong. Meanwhile, those running the department and the judge who leads the juvenile board denied the allegations. But the report now confirms what many have known all along. For months, WFAA has been talking to employees and whistleblowers about the conditions inside the Dallas County Juvenile Detention Center. They complained of unsanitary conditions with overflowing toilets and dirty cells. But the biggest concern was that juveniles were being kept in their jail cells too long, sometimes days at a time.
The majority of the times, these kids are up, for 3 or 4 days straight. It's just very, very sad to see these kids are being neglected like that.
A new report released by the Office of Inspector General confirmed what whistleblowers told us, that staff used a program called the Special Needs Unit to confine juveniles in solitary confinement. The report says they spend the vast majority of their days inside their cells, sometimes up to 24 hours a day, without regular access to education, large muscle exercise, outdoor recreation activities, or showers. In an interview with WFAA in May, Judge Cheryl Shannon, who is the head of the Juvenile Detention Board, denied this was happening.
There are not youth that are in their, if you want to call it a cell, in their sleeping quarters for days at a time without functioning, without those activities.
State law requires juveniles be out of their cells at least 10 hours a day. WFAA previously reported that staff were falsifying records to show kids were out of their cells when they weren't. The OIG report says there were pervasive falsification of documents regarding observation checks. The former director of the department, Daryl Beatty, held a news conference in July criticizing those who challenged his leadership and the department.
The statements and allegations being leveled against our detention center that youth are being subjected to inhumane treatment is categorically false.
Beatty and Deputy Chief DeAndre Jones resigned after that news conference. Mike Griffith was appointed interim director. He says he's already started making sweeping changes.
So kids are out of their room, and that was certainly a big concern and has been a concern. So a lot has been done on that.
He's also called for a massive cleanup of the jail and has fired more than a dozen employees to ensure the well-being of the juveniles. We went to the detention center a few days ago and got a surprise tour of that facility. It was clean. They had enough staff. We saw juveniles playing in the courtyard and studying outside of their cells. They have made significant changes already.
Changes needed to be made. So big question now, will there be any criminal charges because of the treatment of these juveniles and the falsifying of documents?
Yeah, they're still looking into that. That remains to be seen. I know that is something that the DA is also looking at, and they are working to hire more detention officers to replace those that have been let go.
I just wonder about that, though. I mean, the turnover rate in Texas it's near 72%.
Yeah,
it makes you wonder if they're going to be able to find qualified people to fill those slots.
It's a tough job to find them. Yeah, for sure.
I know you'll keep us posted, Rebecca.